American people select the Democrats again instead of just choosing to vote against Republicans, which is mostly what the result of the last election was.
I am restraining myself professionally here. I'm not going to turn this into a debate, but Congresswoman, respectfully, you are wrong on the issues.
We just disagree. We
do disagree.
And that's certainly perfectly you're within your right to disagree with me, but I really believe that what we need to focus on is the issues that are important to people every single day in their lives.
I agree. I'm not arguing that, and I don't think impeachment is going to stop you from doing that.
Impeachment would block out the sun.
It hasn't stopped the war. It hasn't stopped the war, and you won't go to the funding. The leadership has made it clear that they won't go to the funding to cut the funding for the war, and the war is the number one issue. This president has gotten everything that he's wanted from the Democratic Congress since the day you folks took power.
You know that this is a bicameral Congress, and there are two chambers, and we have repeatedly in the House passed bill after bill with timelines for withdrawal and benchmarks, and voted with a majority of Democratic votes to deny the funding to the troops, and the Senate comes up short every time, which is why
you do not have to bring it to the floor, Congresswoman. You do not have to bring the measure for funding to the floor. You do not have to do that. You're in the majority, but let's face it, the war is going to continue.
So we should just leave the troops in Iraq without any funding at all.
You're going to force a policy change, and they're going to have to redeploy. That's what the country wanted, and that's what the country has not gotten.
Logistically, that's not what would happen. And what we're doing now is everything we can.
So you're telling me there's absolutely no way we can get out of Iraq?
No, I'm on the contrary. I'm telling you that we can pass a bill with bridge funding, which is what we're going to do next, and we're going to pass that bill out of the House, send it over to the Senate, and if the Senate we're going to be in a position of strength on the House side. If the Senate chooses not to do that, then we won't be sending any more funding over there. But at this point...
Let me ask you this. Back to the impeachment issue, because that's why I wanted to have you on here. So Robert Wexler he's off base.
I believe Robert Wexler is off base, yes. I don't agree with Robert Wexler. He's a good friend of mine, but what we need to do is what would happen is we have to take this to the logical conclusion. We impeach the vice president, then what? Then Bush gets a new vice president, then what?
You go to the next one.
Then we impeach Bush, and then we impeach Vice President Condoleezza Rice. I mean, where does it stop?
Well, I'll tell you what. When those bombs hit Iran, I guess we'll ask ourselves, where does it stop?
Okay. Well, impeaching the vice president and going through that process isn't going to change whether President Bush decides to do that.
Okay.
Because that's who makes the decisions at the end of the day.
Well, he would be second. We got to get Shooter first, and then we'll get Bush.
Just keep in mind that this is that the people who support impeaching the vice president made a political calculation to pursue that as well.
And I will tell you this, Congresswoman, inside the Beltway, when it comes to impeachment, the Democrats are out of touch with Americans. They want these guys out of office. They don't want to wait until next November.
They want their children to have health care. They want to make sure that we don't continually rely on other countries
You're not going to change health care between now and the next election.
You're right, Ed. So we should just not try. We should just give up
you think
and
George
sit on our
Bush?
hands
You
for the
think
next
George
year and
Bush
do
is going to
nothing.
change health care between now and next November?
That's why the founding fathers created three branches of government.
Yeah.
That's why we needed a Democratic Congress.
Thank
so that
you.
we could make sure that we elect people
You
to
made
Congress.
my case. The three branches of government.
That's exactly right. And we need to make sure that this branch of government focuses on the priorities of the American people, which is not, in almost any district, impeaching the Vice President of the United States. Not top of the list, not even the top 5.
Congresswoman, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you sticking to your guns.
Always great to be here with you.
We have a disagreement. Thank you.
Look forward to talking to you again.
You bet. 1-877-934-6833, and we're back.
You found it. The official home of Impeachment Central. Pull up a chair and sit a while. You're listening to The Ed Schultz Show.
Just a reminder, the President of the United States has the veto pen in his hand until you take it out of his hand, and I think it's wonderful, ideologically wishful thinking that we can do all of these things between now and next November. A Congress that is rated low in the toilet, the lowest it's been in years, can't get along with one another, can't get anything done on a bipartisan manner unless it's completely overwhelming, like water. Oh, okay, big deal. All right, we got the water thing done. Have you seen any polls out there that even list impeachment as an option? We just agree to disagree. They just couldn't get anything else done. This would take up so much time, and the media would be all over it. The media would be all over it. You don't matter. It's the media. It doesn't take very long to be inside the Beltway and be out of touch. I completely disagree with Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I think they have an obligation to push this to the front in the Judiciary Committee. I think Wexler is right on. I think he speaks for the majority of Americans. We're just afraid of the outcome. And for Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz to say that she would have a different feeling about it if it were 2.5 years out. So timing has a lot to do with whether we enforce the Constitution or not and make sure that the branches of government are working. By the way, she requested to be on the program. We didn't ask her, so I don't want anybody out there saying that this was some kind of a get interview. I restrained myself from keeping it as an interview as best I possibly could, although it was somewhat of a debate. Mike in Fort Lauderdale, you're on the Ed Schultz Show. Hello.
Ed, I do not know how you restrained yourself. I wouldn't have been able to do it. She is so wrong on so many levels. I don't know why they just can't add this to what they're doing. Is their job that damn hard? Get the other stuff done. They've been working on it so long, and add this to it. This is what the people want. She is so out of touch. It is unbelievable.
Well, if she's concerned about it,
she has lost my vote. Anybody with her opinion that's a Democrat should be very scared that they're going to hang on to their own seat, let alone get more. I think you should give out her number right now so everyone who wants this should call her, and maybe she can get in touch with reality, because she's wrong on so many levels. I am so disappointed. I was one of her biggest supporters until now. She has lost my vote. And for a diehard Democrat like myself, for over 40 years, since I was a kid helping my parents, to say that I won't vote for a Democrat, you don't know how upset that makes me. But she is just so out of touch. She has lost my vote. Give out her number and let everybody who feels differently from her call her office so she can wake up and smell the coffee.
Well,
I am just so disappointed in her.
Let's reel this back in for just a minute, Mike. It's not just Debbie Wasserman Schultz. It is every member on the House Judiciary Committee, because that's where it is right now. Yeah, I got you.
She's my representative.
Yeah, I'm disappointed too. I said that before the interview, and I let her talk for quite a bit. But the American people want the Constitution to mean something.
That's right.
We don't like it when Scooter does what he does, out CIA agents and ruins people's lives and then walks scot-free.
He broke the law. Yeah, she put an oath to uphold the law. He broke it. This is not a Democrat, Republican, or a get-back thing.
Bing.
He broke the law. We need to stop him from doing it again, and anybody else in the future.
The Voices of America right here on the Ed Schultz Show. We got more time coming your way here where America comes to talk. Stay with us.